Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going deep on the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025.
Future of Jobs Report, yep.
You know, tons of you requested this one, so.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to know what jobs are going to look like in a couple years, right?
Right, exactly. It's like having a crystal ball.
Yeah, like crystal ball, but instead of like vague prophecies, you get hard data.
So you're saying this isn't just speculation, it's based on...
It's based on a massive survey, over 1,000 employers.
Wow, over 1,000. That's a lot of employers. But,
It's not JST the quantity, though.
right, it's got to be quality, too. Like, what kind of companies are we talking about here?
We're talking major companies, huge workforces, like over 14 million employees in total represented in this data.
Okay, so these aren't just your corner store mom and pops. These are the big players.
Right, and it's not just like one industry either. There's incredible variety here. 22 industries, 55 economies represented.
So this is like a truly global perspective.
Yep, it's a global panorama.
So we're getting the big picture, not just like a zoomed-in view.
Exactly.
But let's zoom in a little bit. Like, what are the major takeaways here? What's really shaking things up in this report?
So they lay out 5 major trends that are reshaping the job market.
5? Okay, hit me with number 1.
First up, and no surprise here, it's the tech revolution.
Of course, the tech revolution, it's everywhere.
It is everywhere. Digital access is exploding globally. AI is becoming as common as smartphones.
And robots.
And robots, they're moving beyond factory floors. They're showing up everywhere.
Okay, we hear about AI all the time, but is it really that big of a deal for employers? Like, are they actually worried about this?
Oh, absolutely. It's huge E.
Yeah.
86% of employers they surveyed believe that AI is going to completely transform their businesses by 2030.
Wow, 86%.
Yeah, it's not some fringe tech. It's the main engine of change right now.
Okay, so tech revolution, that's point 1. What else is on this list of trends?
Next up, we've got geopolitical tensions.
Geopolitical tensions, that's a bit of a downer.
Yeah. Sadly, this isn't exactly breaking news, but the report highlights how things like trade wars, global conflicts, they're impacting the job market, too.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. In a volatile world, it's going to impact jobs.
Exactly. On the one hand, it's actually fueling demand for cybersecurity jobs.
Oh, okay. So that's good news for anyone with those skills.
Yeah, good news if you're in cybersecurity. But on the other hand, it means companies, especially those with strong ties to like the US or China,
Right.
they need workers who are incredibly adaptable.
Because things could change on a dime.
Exactly. Very volatile.
Okay, makes sense. A volatile world needs a volatile or flexible workforce.
That's a good way to put it.
So what's trend number 3? Shaping things.
The green transition.
The green transition.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
As the world grapples with climate change, companies are realizing that going green isn't just good for the planet.
Right.
It's good for business.
It's good for business. Yeah, it's not just like a PR thing anymore. They're seeing real benefits.
Real benefits. And so we're seeing a ton of new jobs created in renewable energy, electric vehicles. Anything related to sustainability is just booming.
Okay, so if you're thinking about future-proofing your career, green skills, that's the way to go.
Definitely a hot skill set to have.
I'm all for saving the planet, AD, having job security.
There you go. Win-win.
Exactly. So what's next on this list of trends?
Demographic shifts.
Demographic shifts.
This one's a bit of a double-edged sword.
Okay, so
In developed countries, we're seeing aging populations, which means healthcare jobs, elder care jobs, those are going to be in high demand.
right, because we've got more people living longer,
Exactly.
needing care.
But in developing nations, populations are booming.
Right, so it's the opposite problem.
Yeah, it creates a different set of needs, puts pressure on education systems,
Right, so it's like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, more people living longer on one side and a surge of young people needing education and opportunities on the other.
Wow, okay. And the final trend, shaping the job market.
Economic uncertainty?
Economic uncertainty, well, that's not very reassuring.
Yeah, I know, but it's the reality we're living in.
Right, inflation, slow growth. It's tough out there.
It is tough, and it's making companies prioritize efficiency like never before.
So we've got tech going wild, a Ronald on edge, a green wave, a population puzzle, and economic jitters.
You got it. That sums it up pretty well.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But what does this all mean for the actual Joe BS out there? Like,
Yeah.
which ones are on the rise and which ones are going the way of the dodo?
Well, if you're into tech, the future looks pretty bright.
Okay, no surprise there. Tech is always hot.
Yeah, the fastest growing roles are all tech focused, like big data specialists, AI and machine learning specialists, software developers.
Right, right. But what about those non-tech jobs? Are they all doomed?
Not necessarily.
Okay, good.
This is where the report gets really fascinating.
Okay, tell me more.
Some of the largest growing job categories are actually things like farm workers, delivery drivers, construction workers.
Hold on. Really?
Yeah,
Those are the jobs that everyone's always saying robots are going to take
I
over.
know, right? It's surprising.
So why are they growing? I don't get it.
It's not a simple answer. Technology is impacting these fields,
Right.
but it's not always replacing jobs outright.
So it's more complicated than just robots taking over.
It's more nuanced, yeah.
Okay, so those traditional jobs are evolving.
Exactly.
What else is booming?
The care economy is huge.
The care economy makes sense with aging populations.
Exactly. We need more nurses, social workers, personal care aides, anyone who can help people live longer, healthier lives.
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, tech jobs exploding, green jobs on the rise, traditional jobs evolving, and care economy jobs booming.
So we've got a lot of growth, that's good. But what about the jobs that are on the decline?
Jobs that are easily automated are definitely on the way out.
Okay, so like what? Give me some examples.
Bank tellers, data entry clerks, administrative assistants.
Right, those make sense. A lot of repetitive tasks.
Exactly. Those are the ones that are becoming less and less necessary.
Okay, so if I want to future-proof my Y career, I need to figure out which skills are essential in this crazy job market. Like, what are the magic ingredients for success in 2025 and beyond?
Well, the report highlights 3 skills that are absolutely crucial.
3, okay, lay them on me.
Number 1 is AI and big data.
AI and big data, okay.
Number 2 is networks and cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity makes sense.
And number 3 is technological literacy.
Technological literacy, so basically be comfortable with tech.
Yeah, you don't need to be coding in your sleep, but you do need to be comfortable with technology in general.
Okay, so tech skills are non-negotiable. Got it.
Pretty much.
But what about other skills that employers are looking for? Like, are soft skills still a thing?
Oh, soft skills are becoming more important than ever.
Really? More important?
Yep, creative thinking is huge.
Okay, so employers want people who can, like, think outside the box.
Exactly. They want people who can come up with innovative solutions.
Got it. What else?
Resilience, flexibility, and agility are also key.
So basically, be able to roll with the punches.
Yep. The world is changing fast.
Yeah.
You got to be able to adapt.
So it's not enough to just have the technical chops. You got to be adaptable, creative.
Right.
What else? Anything else on that list of essential soft skills?
Leadership and social influence are becoming increasingly valuable.
So being able to work well with others, even in a tech-driven world, that's still important.
Huge asset. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the lowdown on the big trends, the jobs that are rising and falling, and the skills that are crucial for success.
Right.
But how are companies actually adapting to all of this? Like, what are they doing to prepare their workforce for the future?
Companies are investing heavily in upskilling and reskilling programs.
Upskilling and reskilling, what exactly does that mean?
Basically, they're training their current employees to adapt to the new demands of the job market.
Oh, okay, so they're not just like tossing people aside who don't have the latest skills.
They're realizing that their current employees are valuable assets.
Right, so it makes sense to invest in them.
Exactly, and it's often more cost-effective than constantly hiring new people.
So it's a win-win for both the employee and the employer.
Exactly. Employees gain valuable skills and job security, and employers get a more skilled and adaptable workforce.
That's great news for employees who are worried about their jobs becoming obsolete.
It is, yeah.
How common are these programs? Like, is this just happening at a few forward-thinking companies, or is it more widespread?
It's becoming the norm. The report found that 50% of the global workforce has already completed some form of training as part of their company's initiatives.
50%? Wow, that's a lot.
And that number's only going to go up.
So it's a win-win-win, employees, employers, and the economy as a whole.
Exactly.
We all benefit from a more skilled and adaptable workforce. Okay, so we've laid a lot of groundwork here. The big trends, the jobs on the rise, the ones that are fading, the skills that are crucial for success.
Yep, we've got a good overview.
But I have a feeling the story gets even more interesting when we start to look at the regional and industry-specific nuances.
Oh, absolutely. That's where things get really fascinating.
All right, well, let's dig into that right after this.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the future of jobs.
Future of jobs, yeah, we're getting into it.
We were laying out those big global trends transforming the workforce.
Right, but those trends are just stories.
Yeah,
Unless we have some hard numbers to back them up, right?
numbers are definitely the way to understand this stuff, for sure.
Data is my love language.
Mine too.
So, what kind of data points really jumped out at you from this report? Like, what really made you go, whoa?
Well, one that I thought was really interesting is that by 2025, 22% of current jobs will be significantly impacted by those macro trends we've been talking about.
22%, that's almost a quarter of all Yale jobs.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk of the workforce undergoing some kind of transformation.
Okay, 22%, big number, but impacted, how W? Are we talking more new jobs created, more jobs lost? What's the story?
Well, the good news is the report actually predicts a net increase of 78 million jobs globally by 2025.
Okay, so overall, more jobs, that's good news.
Definitely good news.
But I'm guessing it's not as simple as everyone just keeps their job. And we get a bunch of new jobs on top of that, right?
It's not that simple, no.
So what's really happening?
It's more like a major reshuffling.
Reshuffling, okay. So some jobs are exploding in growth while others are shrinking or even disappearing.
Exactly.
So let's talk about those high growth areas. Which jobs are leading the pack in terms of projected growth?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, tech roles are dominating.
Not surprised there. Tech is always hot.
It is, and one that really stood out was fintech engineers.
Fintech engineers, okay. Break that down for me. What exactly is fintech?
So fintech is short for financial technology.
Okay.
It's basically using tech to innovate in the world of finance.
So everything from like mobile banking to cryptocurrency, that kind of stuff.
All of that, yeah. And these fintech engineers are the ones building the systems that power it all.
So if you can code your way through the complexities of finance, you're in high demand.
You are golden, yeah.
What other tech jobs are booming?
AI and machine learning specialists are huge EE. Also, software and application developers, security management specialists.
Cybersecurity? Makes sense. The more we rely on tech, the more we need people to protect it.
Exactly. It's a huge concern for companies these days.
So anyone with expertise in that area is going to have their pick of opportunities.
Pretty much, yeah.
But what about those surprising growth areas we talked about earlier? The ones that don't immediately scream tech revolution.
Right. Those are really interesting.
Like, why are those growing?
They really challenge our assumptions about which jobs are safe in a world of automation.
Because we think, oh, those are the ones robots are going to take over.
Exactly.
But that's not the whole story.
Not the whole story, no.
So the report lists things like farm workers, delivery drivers, construction workers, even salespeople, and food processing workers among the jobs with the largest growth.
Right.
That's wild. I mean, we hear about self-driving trucks, robots taking over warehouses. Why are those jobs growing?
It's a perfect storm of factors, technology impacting these industries.
Right.
But it's not always the simple case of robots replacing humans.
So give me an example.
Think about precision agriculture.
Precision agriculture, what's that?
It's using data and AI to optimize crop yields, like which crops to plant where, when to irrigate, all that stuff.
Okay.
So it's creating new types of jobs, even as it automates others.
So it's more nuanced than just machines taking over. It's about how technology changes the nature of the work itself.
Exactly. It's not just about replacement, it's about transformation.
Right. And alongside those tech-driven shifts, we have those demographic changes, economic factors, even lifestyle trends. It's all contributing to these unexpected growth patterns.
It all plays a role, yeah.
It's a reminder that the future of work isn't some simple equation. It's a complex system.
Lots of moving parts.
Okay, so we've got a good sense of the jobs that are on the rise.
We do.
But what about the flip side? Which jobs are facing the steepest declines?
The jobs that are seeing the biggest declines are the ones that are most vulnerable to automation.
So the jobs that are easily automated, the repetitive tasks.
Exactly, the ones that robots excel at.
So like what? Give me some examples.
Bank tellers and related clerks are top of the list, followed by data entry clerks, administrative assistants, a number of roles in accounting and bookkeeping.
So those are the ones where the impact of technology replacing those tasks is most pronounced.
Yeah, and the report digs into why those particular jobs are declining.
Okay, so it's not just that they can be automated.
It's that they often involve tasks that are rule-based, predictable.
So they're easy to program.
Exactly, which makes them ideal for AI and robotic systems.
Okay, so that's a bit sobering to think about.
It is.
But let's shift gears to a more empowering topic. Skills. Okay, skills. We talked about those in-demand skills of 2025 broadly.
I did.
But what are the specific skills that are topping employers' wish lists?
Well, the top three are very clear: AI and big data, networks, and cybersecurity and technological literacy.
Okay, those are the big three, the ones companies are focusing their investments on.
Yep, that's where the talent gap is most pronounced.
And these aren't just skills for tech companies, right? These are valuable across a wide range of industries.
Oh, absolutely. The report found that even in traditionally non-tech sectors like agriculture, healthcare, manufacturing,
Good.
employers are looking for people with these skills. They're becoming the baseline.
So those are the technical skills.
Right.
But what about those human-centric skills we talked about earlier? Are those still relevant in this increasingly tech-driven world?
Those are more relevant than ever.
More relevant than ever? Okay, so like what?
Creative thinking, resilience, flexibility, agility, these are all things that robots can't easily replicate.
So employers are desperate for people who can think outside the box, come up with solutions.
Exactly. Adapt to new situations, solve problems creatively. Those are the human skills that are in high demand.
Sounds like adaptability is the key skill for the future.
Absolutely. The ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn is mission critical in this rapidly changing job market.
Because the skills you have today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Exactly.
So you got to be comfortable with that continuous learning, that upskilling.
It's the only way to stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, so we've got AI and big data, networks, and cybersecurity, technological literacy. Those are the tech pillars.
Yep.
And then we've got creative thinking, resilience, flexibility, agility. Those are the essential human skills.
Those are the key ingredients.
Those are what I should be focusing on if I want to not just survive, but thrive in the future of work.
You got it. That's the recipe for success.
But what about the skills that are becoming less relevant? We talked about manual dexterity earlier.
Right.
Anything else on that list?
This one might surprise you.
Okay, hit me.
Reading, writing, and mathematics.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Those seem like pretty foundational skills for pretty much everything.
They are, but it's not that they're becoming unimportant.
Oh.
It's more that the nature of those skills is changing.
Changing how so?
With AI and automation taking over more of those routine tasks, the emphasis is shifting toward higher order thinking skills.
So it's not about just crunching numbers or writing basic reports.
It's more about analyzing information, solving complex problems, communicating your ideas effectively.
So those foundational skills are still important,
Absolutely.
but you need to be able to build on them, develop more specialized expertise.
Exactly.
And what about that surprising decline in service orientation and customer service that we talked about earlier? Any more insights on that?
I think it reflects that broader shift in how businesses are interacting with customers.
How so?
With the rise of e-commerce, self-service options, AI-powered chatbots, there's just less reliance on that traditional human-driven customer service.
So it's not that those skills are becoming completely irrelevant, but they're evolving.
Evolving, yeah, the ability to provide that personalized, high-touch customer service is still valuable, especially in complex or sensitive situations.
Right. But the days of just answering phones and processing basic requests are fading.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered the skills that are increasing and decreasing in importance.
We have.
But how are these trends actually playing out on the ground? Like, how are companies changing their workforce strategies to meet these challenges?
This is where the report gets really practical.
Okay, good. Practical advice.
One of the most significant findings is that companies are investing heavily in those upskilling and reskilling programs for their existing employees.
Right, they're realizing it's more cost-effective to train their current workforce than constantly hire new people.
Exactly. It's a shift from that replace mindset to an invest mindset.
Invest in your people.
Invest in your people, and the report backs this up with data. They found 50% of the global workforce has already completed some form of training as part of their company's initiatives.
50%. So this isn't some future trend. It's happening right now.
It's happening now.
That's encouraging. It suggests that companies are taking this seriously.
They're recognizing the importance of continuous learning and development. Yeah.
But are these programs actually effective?
The data suggests they are. The report found that employers who invest in upskilling and reskilling programs, they see improvements in productivity, competitiveness, and talent retention.
So it's a triple win. Employees gain skills, job security, employers get a better workforce, and the economy as a whole benefits.
Exactly. It's a win-win-win.
And this shift towards upskilling and reskilling goes hand in hand with that rise of skills-based hiring we talked about earlier.
Right. That move away from focusing solely on degrees and credentials.
Exactly. Work experience, skills assessments, portfolios, That's the new currency.
It's about showing what you can do, not just what you've studied.
It's about recognizing talent wherever it exists, regardless of background or formal education.
Absolutely.
What about AI? How are companies integrating that into their workforce strategies?
They're using AI in a couple of key ways: to automate tasks and to augment human capabilities.
Augment. Okay, can you give me an example of that?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a concept a lot of people struggle with.
Sure, imagine a customer service representative who's using an AI-powered tool to instantly access a vast knowledge base.
Okay.
They can personalize their responses to each customer, maybe even predict potential solutions before the customer even finishes explaining their problem.
So the AI isn't replacing the rep.
It's giving them superpowers to do their job better and faster.
Okay, that's a really helpful example. So it's not about humans versus machines.
Right.
It's about humans and machines working together more effectively.
Exactly. The future of work is about finding that balance, that sweet spot where human and technological capabilities complement each other.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
It has been.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the global trends shaping the future of work to the specific skills and strategies that will help individuals and companies thrive.
We've painted a pretty detailed picture of the global landscape.
But now it's time to zoom in and explore how these trends play out in different parts of the world and in specific industries.
That's where things get really interesting.
All right, let's take that deep dive into those regional and industry-specific insights. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking this Future of Jobs report like it's a treasure chest full of insights.
So much good stuff in here.
We've talked global trends, the hottest jobs, the skills that'll make you a superstar.
The essential ingredients.
But now it's time to get granular, see how this all plays out in different corners of the world and in specific industries.
Yeah, it's like zooming in on a map, right? We've got the big picture,
Right.
but now we're going street level, seeing those unique challenges and opportunities.
Exactly. And the report doesn't disappoint. It's packed with regional and industry-specific data.
Oh yeah, tons of it.
So let's start with regions. We've got everything from those economic powerhouses to emerging markets represented here.
The whole spectrum.
And each region has its own story to tell, its own way of navigating this future of work.
Its own unique path.
So let's take Eastern Asia and Oceania, for example. They're facing a double whammy: aging populations and a slowing economy.
Tough combo.
It's a tough combo. So this puts them in a unique position. They need to find ways to boost productivity while also supporting an aging workforce.
Right, it's a balancing act.
So are they looking at like automation to solve this?
Exactly. They're investing heavily in robotics, AI, trying to maintain that competitiveness.
Makes sense.
But they're also realizing that they need to tap into diverse talent pools, including older workers, women.
Right, to fill those gaps.
Fill the gaps, exactly.
So it's a balancing act. They need to embrace these new technologies, but also ensure that everyone has a chance to participate.
Right, opportunity for all.
What about Europe? They're facing a whole different set of pressures, right?
Yeah, Europe's got a triple threat going on: rapid digitalization, ambitious green initiatives, and a rising cost of living.
Wow, a triple threat. So how are they handling that?
Well, on the one hand, they're really leading the charge on renewable energy and digital technologies.
Who they're at the forefront of innovation.
They are, but that creates its own challenges. They need a workforce with the skills to match.
Right, because all that innovation requires specialized talent.
Exactly, and they're grappling with significant skills gaps and talent shortages in key areas like data science, AI, renewable energy engineering.
So attracting and retaining top talent is a major concern for European companies.
A huge GE concern, yeah.
And what about Latin America and the Caribbean? What's their story?
They're experiencing a surge in digital access, a growing focus on social issues, and of course the impact of climate change.
Right, climate change is a global issue.
It is, and they've got a young and vibrant population, but skills gaps are a major obstacle.
So they've got the potential, but they need to invest in education and training to unlock it.
Exactly. They need to equip that workforce with the skills to thrive in a digital economy and address those social inequalities to make sure everyone has a chance to succeed.
It seems like these skills gaps are a common thread across all regions.
It's a global issue, yeah.
It's like a global race for talent is heating up.
The competition is fierce.
So what does this mean for workers? What can they do to stay ahead?
They need to be proactive, can't just wait for their employer to provide training.
Right, take ownership.
Take ownership of their careers, invest in their own skills. It's all about continuous learning, upskilling, being adaptable, and staying ahead of the curve.
So it's not enough to just have skills. You got to keep learning new ones.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills either. It's about those uniquely human skills that set us apart from the machines.
Right, the things robots can't do.
Exactly. Things like creativity, problem solving, communication, and collaboration.
Those are the skills that allow us to thrive in a world where technology is constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked regions. Now let's zoom in on specific industries.
Sector deep dive.
The report takes a deep dive into several key sectors, highlighting those unique challenges and opportunities.
Let's do it.
Let's start with advanced manufacturing. It's a sector that's undergoing a massive transformation.
Huge changes happening there.
They're dealing with rising costs, supply chain disruptions, the need to become more sustainable, but they're also embracing those cutting-edge technologies like AI, robotics, new materials.
It's a really interesting mix of old and new.
Yeah, they're still building things.
They're still building things, but they're doing it in smarter, more efficient, more sustainable ways.
So what kind of jobs are in high demand in this sector?
They're looking for people with expertise in AI, robotics, data analytics, and sustainability, for sure.
Okay, makes sense.
But they're also looking for people who can manage those complex systems, solve problems creatively, and work effectively in teams.
So it's a blend of that technical expertise and the human ingenuity.
Gotta have both.
What about the infrastructure sector? How are they navigating the future of work?
Infrastructure is all about building those foundations for a modern society. Roads, bridges, energy grids, digital networks, all of that.
They're literally building the future.
They are, and climate change and digitalization are forcing them to rethink everything.
So what are they prioritizing? What skills?
Data analytics is huge for them, also organizational development, engineering, and project management.
Okay, so they need people who can manage those massive projects.
Exactly. Navigate complex regulations, make sure everything is built to last.
And what about telecommunications? They're at the heart of the digital revolution, right?
Telecommunications is all about connecting people and information. They're expanding digital access, building out those 5G networks, even exploring new frontiers like space and satellite technology.
Wow, space and satellite tech, that's getting pretty futuristic.
It is. It's a fast-paced, constantly evolving sector.
So what kind of skills are in high demand in this digital frontier?
AI, data science, software development, and cybersecurity are all essential.
So they need people who can build and manage those complex systems, analyze massive data sets, make sure everything is secure.
Exactly. It's a thrilling but demanding field.
It sounds like it.
Lots of opportunity there.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from global trends to regional nuances to industry-specific insights. What's the big takeaway from all of this? What does it all mean for the future of work?
The future of work is a moving target. It's constantly evolving, shaped by all these forces. But one thing is clear. Adaptability is key.
We need to be lifelong learners,
Yeah.
upskilling, reskilling to stay ahead.
Embrace change. Be willing to step outside your comfort zone.
And remember, the future of work is not humans versus machines.
It's about collaboration.
It's about finding ways to collaborate, augment our capabilities, create a better future for everyone.
Exactly.
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
It has.
The future of work is full of uncertainty, but it's also full of possibilities.
Absolutely.
If we're prepared to adapt, learn, collaborate, we can create a future of work that's prosperous and fulfilling.
I love that. The future is what we make it.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the Future of Jobs Report 2025.
Great discussion.
We covered a lot of ground, but the conversation doesn't end here. What stood out to you the most from this deep dive? What skills are you going to focus on developing? Share your thoughts on social media using #TheDeepDive and keep those sources coming.
We love hearing from you.
We'll be back next week with another deep dive into the topics that matter most to you.
See you then.
Thanks for listening.